Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I got a good one for you today, so buckle up. This is going to be a funny and entertaining ride and probably going to piss you off if you are looking at moving overseas somewhere outside of your home country. This girl she thinks she's bashing passport bros, but all she does, you'll see on the video review that we're going to do, all she does is prove the point why guys are leaving the West and coming to other countries and getting away from women like this. And she thinks she's being funny and bashing. And it's really bizarre because she bases 100% of her opinion off of some stupid ass reality show she's seen. So, all right, so let's see what women in America seem to think about the passport bro craze. All right, let's see here.
Passport bro? More like passport bro.
Passport
Today we're
bro.
talking about why passport bros are the newest scum of the earth. Recently, a clip from 90 Day Fiancé, The Other Way, has been going viral. A man named Lauren goes to visit his fiancé.
So yeah, apparently if you're a passport bro, you're broke, you're a loser, and you're the biggest scum of the earth. And she bases this on 90 Day Fiancé. Wow, brilliant insight you have into the international global dating world based on a reality show. I don't know if this girl is aware that reality shows are fake. They're just called reality shows. They're not actually real.
Faith in the Philippines. As the season has been airing, these clips of Faith and Lauren on 90 Day have been going all over the internet, and I have been binging it like crazy. I hate to admit it, but I have been there. I've been sat. Let's react to a few of these. As these clips of Faith and Lauren on 90 Day have been going viral, it's kind of opened up the conversation to me at least, and reminded me that this is like an archetype of person. He's not the only one doing this bullshit, and he's not the only one doing it in the scummy way that he is doing it. So without further ado, let's dive in.
For the first time in my life, I can afford to just go out and buy my girlfriend whatever she wants and a pair of shoes and spend money the whole day.
So this guy is having a blast with his fiance in the Philippines because the conversion rates are very kind to him.
It's still sexy.
Sexy, they're better. 2 dresses?
$1.50.
Yeah?
That is okay for you.
No, of course.
He's so happy about $1.50 on this dress. He feels like he is the man of the hour. This is great, but from everything I've seen, she's under the impression that she's going back to the States with him. But he's under the...
So I'm not sure what the point is to bashing that. You could just be mentally retarded and pay exorbitant amounts of money for everything in the United States. Or you could go somewhere where your dollar goes a lot further. So who's the dumbass there? I'm not sure. I think it's her, actually, if I had to guess. Like I said in other videos, everything is cheaper here. That's not a bad thing. My haircut is 70 pesos. That's like $1.25. My haircut in America was almost $30. You go for a smoothie here and it's $1, not $8 or $10 in America.
Impression that he can dupe her and stay in the Philippines so that he can afford a lifestyle.
3 pesos and 2.
Mentality that these people seem to have, the way that they're absolutely taking advantage of these women, the way that they low-key just hate women, and the way that they are enforcing toxic traditional gender roles and misogyny. After lurking around...
She's the typical new generation girl in the West. She's woke, she threw in all the buzzwords, toxic masculinity, traditional gender roles, sexist, you name it. And all you're doing, like I said at the beginning, is proving why guys are running away from women exactly like you and taking advantage of women. And she really goes wild into this one here. So we're going to have a good laugh here.
The dark corners of the web where passport bros do, I've learned a few things. These men are victims of the male loneliness epidemic. I have seen that phrase thrown around countless times in every passport bro conversation. To be fair, it's not for nothing because a 2023 State of American Men report from Equimundo found that 2/3 of surveyed men between ages 18 and 23 say, "No one really knows me." Since 1990, the share of men who lack a single close friend quintupled to 15%. I have a few thoughts on this. A lot of the people in that surveyed group had COVID college, which meant that they didn't get those formative years, those formative friend-making years. I am one of them. I feel the effects of this. So I have to wonder why they didn't also just ask women this, because I'm not so sure it's a gendered issue as much as it is a generational issue and a circumstantial issue. And not only is this demographic missing out on formative years of socialization, I just think the post-COVID world is a lot more antisocial.
Typical woman in the West, they like to play the victim card, and that's exactly what she does. She goes on to say that it's not just men that have a hard time. You don't understand how hard it is to be a woman, and how annoying is her personality, by the way, guys. Sweet mother of God.
Than it used to be. People are getting awkward talking to service workers. Don't you think you used to have a conversation with the person checking you out at Target? And now we do self-checkout. Everything's touchless, humanless, quick to go, and there's no time for relationships or cordial conversations. So let's be real. I am doubtful this is a male loneliness epidemic. I think it might be an everybody loneliness epidemic. But I do think that men might be feeling the effects a little bit harder due to the side effects of patriarchy, because men might feel less comfortable talking about.
It's the patriarchy's fault, guys. Or it could be the fact that actual research shows that men are men are actually deciding to not date in the West because of women like this, bashing them and saying the patriarchy, you're trying to keep us down, you're a male chauvinist, etc. You're trying to control me. So that is more the issue, why you're seeing this epidemic of male loneliness in the West. Not because of COVID, sweet Jesus.
Their feelings, because they don't want to be seen as weak or feminine, because God forbid a man talk about his feelings. I also have to say that these incel passport bros are always crying male loneliness epidemic, but then at the same time, whenever they are caught up in a tussle with a woman, they say, haha, feminist lonely cat lady will die alone. I'm like, wait, I thought we were sad for you because you're lonely, but when a woman's lonely, it's because she's a bitch. And based on my experiences with most of the well-adjusted normal guys I know, it seems so easy to make friends as a guy. You just pull up to a gym. You go to a random soccer league. You go to a random hockey league. You sign up for some sort of random activity, and guys are so friendly that it's like, I like this, you like this. I'll see you next time.
She talks down to the dudes just like we're a bunch of morons with two brain cells in your head, right? That guys are just so stupid. You go to the gym and you make buddies. I've been going to gyms my entire life, and I could probably count on one hand the amount of actual friends that I've had from the gyms. Yeah, you see people in there and you might shoot the BS with them for a few minutes before and whatever, but they're not going to be your lifelong buddies, chances are. So yeah, again, victim card.
Listen, if you're a lonely male watching this, sign up for some sort of sport club and you're done. With women, we have to be in the barracks, okay? We have to have a mutual hate for someone, okay? And we can't just meet a girl at Pilates and decide we like her. It takes weeks of complimenting outfits, of making eye contact, of trying.
So hard being a girl in the West. We just don't understand. We really, truly don't.
To make eye contact in a way that's not bitchy and overanalyzing, but friendly and inviting, and seeing if we have common interests, if we'll vibe, and then going out and then trying not to get ghosted on her because we've just got a lot going on and we're too nervous and we get in our heads and it's a whole thing. You just have to play the same damn sport. Moving on. The entitlement of the passport bro community. These men think they are entitled to women. Not only are they outcast victims of society and a generation that doesn't value the white man anymore, they've also got an entitlement problem. This post is so cringe to me, where a veteran passport bro shares his best advice on finding quality women, because these guys are too good for American women. American women aren't trad enough. American women have too much of their own opinion.
So she's never been to the Philippines. It doesn't sound like she's ever left America. By looking at her studio apartment, it doesn't look like it. And she's clearly American. And I think she says she lives in Idaho or Utah, I think. So she's making all these judgments about anybody that moves to another country, maybe in pursuit of a different life, is a loser, they're broke, and they're taking advantage of women. They were outcasts in their home country, and they're just the pitiful pond scum. Oh, and she read some Reddit posts, apparently. So yeah, a lot of insight into Reddit posts.
and independence, and they don't want to make dinner and they want to do their own thing. These guys have such a sense of entitlement when I guarantee, I'm like, show me an emotionally intelligent, good-looking passport bro with a real job and I will delete this video, okay? I will. The first step is
Well, there's tens of thousands of them. Wake up call, whoever this person is. Literally tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of us now living outside their home countries that have great jobs, great careers, aren't losers, weren't washed up outcasts in our home country, aren't broke, aren't have to pay for women or taking advantage of women. I got friends that are in their early 30s that have six-figure jobs in America working online companies. They're young, good-looking guys, great personalities. I know a lot of guys that are over here retired young, did 20 years in the military. They're over here on great pensions, working second jobs. I know a lot of people in Vietnam, young people in their early 20s, right out of college, going into Vietnam and Thailand and teaching English and having amazing lives. So this girl is 100% clueless, bashing everybody based on some Reddit threads and a reality show. And the scary thing is she's got a couple 100,000 subscribers. So people apparently actually listen to this girl.
influential locals know that you're not just a hard-drinking vacationer there for a week. Build some trust with them, okay? So influence the community and build trust, okay? When you write it out in a Reddit thread, that's kind of weird. Go to the dentist, okay? Tell them you are single and thinking about moving to the city. Then flat out ask them if they know any single women who might be able to show you around. Ew. Could you imagine if some old guy pulled up to my hometown in Utah and was like, I was wondering if there are any fine young ladies willing to show me around the town. And they're like, Davis County? Even better is to go see an attorney who specializes in helping foreign.
Well, this guy's advice isn't that good, and he honestly sounds like someone who doesn't live in the Philippines or maybe doesn't live in another country. He sounds like maybe an older guy, because this advice is kind of goofy, but whatever. Again, it's a Reddit thread. If you looked at Reddit, you got some real ridiculous crap.
Move to whatever country you are in. I have known two guys who married legal secretaries like this, and both of them, they got amazing ladies 25 or 35 years younger who are smart, organized, and great moms. Okay, so this is a whole other topic I've been wanting to cover, but the way that this is so knowingly taking advantage of a woman who is so much younger than you, I don't care who the fuck you are, but if you are trying to marry someone 35 years younger than you, you are disgusting. You are a creep, and you should seriously consider jail. And here is where
consider jail. I'm not too keen on a 35-year age gap myself, but whatever, right? Who are we to judge? If it works for people, right, it works for people. I know a lot of people look at I'm going to do a video on this because I know it's a real popular topic, the age gap in the Philippines and how prevalent it is here. And there's obviously pros and cons. I won't go too down in the weeds on that, but I wanted to touch on this point that she makes, that we should, apparently people dating in an age gap should be jailed. But apparently it's okay for celebrities, right? When Leonardo DiCaprio, they joke with him at the award shows that he has an 18-year-old Israeli model girlfriend. That's all funny, and people love Leo for it, right? But if you're an expat doing it, you're a pervert that should be in jail. So a little hypocrisy there, right? And I had an older guy explain this to me once, years ago, I remember. He said it best. He said, he was an older guy, and he said, guys that are older get a bad rap for being a pervert if they like a younger girl, as in like early 20s, right? And I said, yeah. And he said, well, think about it logically. Just because you're 60 doesn't mean you don't look at a beautiful 25-year-old woman and still find her beautiful, right? You still look at a 25-year-old woman and she's still beautiful and attractive, just like you did when you were 25. I'm like, yeah, I guess you're right, actually. I never really thought about it until he phrased it that way. And he said, when you're 60, you don't find 60-year-olds hot. You still find the 25, the 35-year-olds hot, right? Your tastes don't change, maybe unless you're married that person and got old together, right? You're going to find them attractive, etc. But just from physicality perspective,
not to look for women. There are a couple places where this approach is iffy. For instance, if you mention to any taxi driver in any city in the world that you are looking for a woman to show you around, he is probably going to set you up with women who will show you around in the biblical sense. Ugh, you're an old man in the Philippines looking for hot young women. What the fuck? Be real, that's what you're there for, dumbass. Gyms are another gray area because many of the male trainers work as bouncers in the bars and usually know all of the professional daters in the area. Motherfucker, if you are a part of a Reddit thread that's just about going overseas to take advantage of young women, then you are a professional dater too, because you have clearly invested lots of.
There's a lot of this that goes, I wouldn't say there's a lot in the Philippines. There's a lot of that goes on more in Thailand than the Philippines. There are parts in the Philippines where that's prevalent, and there's some here, and I've talked about it before, but I'm not down with that pay to play either, but whatever, whatever works for some people. But don't you love her foul language, right? She talks like a drunken sailor, right, on shore leave, and somehow she thinks she's attractive and being entertaining.
Time and money into this. And if you're too broke to date women in your own fucking country, maybe if you put as much time into your real profession as you do, you might be able to date women in your own country. You might be able to afford to take a woman to Applebee's in the United States. Also, many of the professional daters hit the gym every day about.
I thought she just, like I said, makes those sweeping generalizations. Everyone apparently that moves out of the US or their home country is broke. Can't afford to even take a girl to Applebee's. I know a lot of guys here that are very well off, that were very well off in their home country. A lot of them. You don't move to the other side of the freaking planet being broke. You just don't. So this is just utter horseshit. It truly is. And it's not as cheap as people want to think to live here. And it's not cheap to live here well and to be able to afford to travel and to go on vacations and do fancy things and have a girlfriend or a wife or a family and have a car. Cars cost actually more here than they do in America. Wake up call. Lots of things actually cost more in the Philippines than they do in the West. Some things are significantly cheaper. So my point is, if you're thriving here, let's just say the Philippines, and doing really well and living a very nice life, you're not some broke ass. You're just not. So a little wake-up call for you there.
Noon to work off the previous night's champagne and lobster. It's just tricky. Like, how gross to have so many ideas on what a perfect woman is when guaranteed you're a crusty old white dude. The entitlement of these people is ridiculous. Check out this one. Passport Bros is men's answer to Tinder. Tinder has reshaped the dating market in that it gave all the power to women to choose the men they want, which is exclusively the top 10% most attractive men in any given population. This pushes 90% of men out of the dating market, while 90% of women are allowed to be active. Kind of like free entry for ladies.
I'm going to actually do a separate video on this topic, so I won't go too down in the weeds on it, but I did want to touch on it because it's a funny comment she's making, because it ties back to the other video I just posted, the delusion of Western women. Typically, when you go anywhere in America and you ask a girl to rate themselves based on physical appearance, what would you rate yourself on a scale from 1 to 10? Oh, I'm a 10. Every girl's a 10. They might be 300 pounds, right? Oh, I'm a 10. And because of that, what they're finding on dating apps, guys will swipe thousands of yeses, right, on girls that they like them. Girls very rarely swipe yes on guys, only the hottest guys, because they're in this delusional mindset that they're a 10, so therefore they should have a 10. Meanwhile, they're a 2, and they should be swiping yes on probably 90% of the guys, right? But they have this delusional mindset. That's what these guys are saying, that Passport Bros is the answer to Tinder, because what it does is the dynamic is totally different because the women are not delusional in the Philippines. Like you've seen, if you haven't watched that video, go check that out. You walk around the Philippines and you talk to girls that actually are 10s and you ask them, what would you rate yourself? Oh, I'm a 4. What? It's like you want to ask, do you have a mirror in your house? Do you see how you look? Girls with no makeup, just beautiful, stunning, stunning, stunning. Could put them in magazines, think they're 4s and 5s. It has nothing to do with, oh, we just want to take advantage of these women. they're not delusional. They don't think they should be dating, Chris Hemsworth and Brad Pitt when they look like, Shrek. But that's the West for you. All right, guys, change of scenery. I noticed the video is going really long, so I cut it into 2 parts, so stay tuned for part 2. Part 2 is even crazier than part 1, and it's she gets even a little crazier and crazier the longer the video goes on. So check out part 2 coming up in a little bit. All right, like and subscribe, and see you guys.